I will call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Winneconne Community School District Regular School Board meeting. It is February 3rd, 2025, 6:30 p.m. We are in the high school large group lecture. Meeting notices were sent to members of the press, members of the school board, and were posted on the front doors and/or in the vestibules of district school buildings. This is a meeting of the board in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public hearing. There may be time for public comment as indicated in the agenda. The meeting will also be available to watch live at www.youtube.com/Winneconne. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Stelzner.
Here.
Verich.
Here.
Keller.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Ackman.
Here.
Kunde here. Hanson.
Here. Recognizing our administrative team, we have Dr. Larson, Mrs. Knapp, Dr. Hughes, Mrs. Dodd, Mrs. Horvath, Ms. Mashad, Mr. Lee, Mr. Dobner, Mr. Manier, Mrs. Mishler, Mr. Jerbeck. Visitors, if you would please sign in on the sign-up sheet. We need to keep a record on file of who is here as a visitor. Appreciate that, thank you. And now is the time for open forum to speak to any of the agenda items or request a future agenda item. So, Mr. Adam Aarons.
I wanted to just talk about the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP. And for, people in the community that don't know, it's a nationally representative sample of schools throughout the country that allows an apples-to-apples comparison of students in each state and some cities. The results came out last week, and again, this isn't directed towards Winneconne, it's just in general, DPI. Not surprisingly, they paint a dim picture of the student performance since the pandemic, both in Wisconsin and across the nation. And here's some takeaways that I got from it. Fourth grade reading in Wisconsin was the lowest that has been recorded since 1992. I believe it should be a five-alarm fire for the education establishment. And NAEP results clearly show how DPI has cooked the books with academic outcomes. And I have discussed before, in 2024, DPI lowered the standards and cut scores for proficiency in the state's forward exam for the most recent academic year. Proficiency was previously tied to NAEP in reading, meaning that proficiency on the forward exam was comparable to NAEP proficiency, but now that is tie is broken and the forward exam proficiency has been dramatically inflated. And in fact, we're 20% higher. The forward is 20% higher than the NAEP, so large gaps exist when it comes to math. That means that DPI is deeming 20% of students proficient in reading that really aren't effective. So they're effectively lying to us parents. So this illustrates once again the absurdity of DPI's new definition of meeting expectations. And I also wanted to ask a question for Mark, because that'll be the Wisconsin Association of School Board last week. I know you were a representative and I know others were there, but I wanted to ask again, because I did ask this a month ago and I feel like I need a little more clarification because the Save Girls Sports resolution, which yes, it didn't pass committee to actually be voted on, but it was brought up on the floor. So I'd like to know once again how you voted, how Winneconne voted, or on your representation of that, because I know it was a lot closer this time around than last year, about 50-50 from what I heard. So I'd just like to know how you voted on that, not on that it didn't make it to the floor, but how you voted to make it to come to the floor, and how you voted last year. And also we had a conversation last week about cursive for the community meeting, so I'd like that to be discussed. I know a lot of people have said it'd be difficult to bring it back, But, you know, the majority of this country actually still teaches cursive for their students, so, that's all. Thank you.
Sure.
Adam will answer your question. As I consistently have said to you, any resolution that does not come out of state resolution policy and committee has an opportunity to come back to the floor. As I serve on the State Resolutions and Policy Committee, the resolution that you're talking about did not get out of committee, and at that time I had told you that I had voted for it, and it was a vote of 14 to 15 at that time, so that did not get out of Policy and Resolutions Committee. The delegation is consisted of around not quite 400 school districts statewide. We had around 380 delegates there at the meeting this year, and again, the policy was brought up by New London School District. It did not get a 2/3 vote to come to the floor for discussion. To answer your question, I did vote for it to get to the floor because I really would like to get a discussion started and get the viewpoint of the association. I think it would be good for the Association of School Board across the board as far as their take and their stance on really how they feel. And as well, I think it would take a whole lot of answers or questions that are out there, questions and answers that are out there from a lot of people. So that's how I voted.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll close the open forum, as no one else has signed up to speak. And we will move into open session. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Verich, second by Kunde to approve consent agenda. Any questions or comments from the board? Roll call, please.
Stelzner,
Aye.
Verich,
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Ackman,
Aye.
Kunde, Hanson.
Aye. Motion to approve minutes from the January 2025 regular school board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kunde, second by Keller to approve January 2025 regular school board meeting minutes. Roll call, please.
Keller,
Aye.
Peterson,
Abstain.
Ackman,
Aye.
Kunde, Stelzner,
Aye.
Verich,
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye. And next on the agenda is our high school band members who were present at the school board convention to perform and did an amazing job. I just want to say that throughout the convention, I personally was approached by several people that just were amazed by your performance. So congratulations to Mrs. Ron and the students.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say good evening, everybody. I'm here as one of our students to speak on behalf of our Winneconne High School Band for the amazing trip that we took just a few short weeks ago. I would like to start off by giving a huge thank you to our school board. We would not have been able to do any of this without your support. And I would also like to thank Mrs. Ron for her guidance and patience this past semester. The growth that I've seen in myself and of our band as a whole has been shocking to say the least. And it's because of the constant encouragement from our teacher and peers that we were able to accomplish this. I would now like to tell you about some of my favorite experiences from this trip, and what better than to start with the concert itself. We performed in front of over 2,000 people, and what a surreal experience it was. The sheer amount of people paired with the lights and stage made for a grander atmosphere. Sharing the music that we worked so hard on in our first semester felt so rewarding, and I think that I speak for everyone in the band when I say just how grateful we are for the kind words and praise we received afterwards. The trip was overall an amazing experience, and the memories we made there, both performance-wise and with friends, are sure to be long-lasting and positive. Thank you.
Hello, I am a member of the Winneconne High School Band. The band would like to thank everyone who helped out with our January 21st and 22nd state conference trip. For many of us, this was an opportunity to reach new heights in our music. However, to grow within our music, we needed to grow as a band together. We got to know each other so much between laughs and games and a late night. Whether it be by rooming with old friends or making new ones, I think I speak for everyone when I say this trip has made so many positive memories. that will not be forgotten. This trip would not have been possible without you. And so from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.
Hi, I'm Solomon. I play trombone in the high school band, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to come down and watch us perform. Yeah, you got to see us perform, but what you don't see is all the effort that Miss Ron puts into this, and not only just making us a better instrumentalist, but making us better people altogether. And I really just want to emphasize my appreciation of Miss Ron and all she does for us. And thank you all for supporting the band in this trip.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Just like to compliment the band and Miss Ron as well. They performed the very first part of the convention for the opening ceremony, the opening session of the convention. And to be sitting there to witness that and set the tone for that week that we were there, and the compliments received by the talent and even the numbers within our bands. We were asked, how do you get that many interested? How do you get that many involved? It says a lot about our program, so thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, excuse me, is the resolution establishing parameters for the sale of, not to exceed $5,300,000 general obligation promissory notes. So in your packet, you have the information. Anything to add, Mrs. Knapp?
Oh, this is just the second round with the bond issuance to get us through the end of the project.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And just so you understand, this is the difference between the original $20 million bond and the remainder of it to bring it up to the 28.3 that was approved for the referendum.
Correct. And the difference is we used about $2.1 million of our own money to fund that bridge.
I move to approve a resolution establishing parameters for the sale of not to exceed $5,300,000 general obligation promissory notes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Verich, second by Stelzner to approve the resolution establishing the parameters for the sale of not to exceed $5,300,000 general obligation promissory notes. Any other questions or discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Peterson,
Aye.
Ackman,
Aye.
Kundi, Stelzner,
Aye.
Verich,
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye. All right, consideration of tuition waiver request for 4K student pending residency.
Yes, in your packet, you have information on a family who's in the building process, so they're just asking permission to continue to attend here until they actually move into their new home.
I move to approve the tuition waiver request for this 4K student pending residency.
Second.
Motion by Verich, second by Keller to approve the tuition waiver request. Any other questions or discussion from the board? Roll call, please.
Ackman,
Aye.
Kundi, Stelzner,
Aye.
Verich,
Aye.
Keller,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye. Administrative reports. Anything to add from any administration or questions from the board? All right. Board reports, any communications?
I have a couple things I'd like to just add to board report as well as communication. I just wanted to review a little bit on resolutions at the WASBA, the Wisconsin Association of School Board Convention as well. And our board had those resolutions a month before the convention, so they gave me as the delegate the direction as far as how we would go forward and vote. I just wanted to bring up a couple points of all of them that were at there as far as resolution. There was two that failed. One was when you start to talk about decoupling of funds and the cost of vouchers and open enrollment and so on. And I think the main concern there was really how it was to be put on a property tax bill. And if it was put on as a property tax bill, it might encourage more growth from the voucher system, so that was the concern and basically why it failed. The other one, of course, and we hear a lot about it and we talk a lot about it, is the report card. The resolution 25-8 on the report card as well failed. As we know, the areas of the report card that are indicated as far as the growth factors, the graduation, the achievement areas, and the targeted grading and so on and so forth. I think the main reason from what we heard from the convention was the disparity amongst the school districts as far as some of the school districts might be at around $11,000 some odd dollars per student. Some of them might be at $15,000 or $18,000. And just the idea of the more funding, how it supports the actual achievements and so on amongst the grades in the schools across the state was a major part of the discussion on that. Just one other thing is I wanted to congratulate Donna Hansen, representing our school board. She has been a member of the School District Board of Education for 20 years, and she was recognized at the convention. And just lastly, we have one communication. Just to know that in countless ways our family and friends are with us, and it makes it easier, from the Donald Cundy family and the loss of my dad. Winneconne Board of Education, administration, and staff, thank you for the thoughts and prayers and donation to the memorial of our father. At the time of loss of our family, and the care is so much appreciated. Thank you, Mark, Cheryl Cundy, and the Donald Cundy family.
And as Mark had mentioned, Mr. Ackman, Mr. Cundy, myself, Mrs. Verich, and Mrs. Stelzner did attend the school board convention, and that is it's about a 3-day convention that just lots of breakout sessions, keynote speakers, just very good information of what's happening with a lot of the other districts in the state, up and coming things. We attended information on going to all-day 4K. There's WIAA is usually down there with the presentation. Just lots of information and a good place to network with other school board members. So I don't know if there's anybody else that would like to speak to what they attended, or?
I'd like to say a few words, Donna.
Sure.
I went to the WASB legal updates, and I love that stuff. I took like 5 pages of notes, but I simplified it for you. In the past, legislature felt inflation was the least they could do for schools. But that changed in 2008 and 2009. Now there are 3% of school districts that receive under $11,500 per student, and 10% of school districts receive over $16,000 per student, with the highest school district getting $32,545 per student. And almost half of the school, well, actually, referendums were not intended to be critical to meeting basic funding needs, but now we need to do that. Almost half of the school districts went to referendum in 2024, with for capital, 88% of those passed, and for operating expenses, 67% of those passed. And what the WASB said they were working on might not really answer some of your questions, Adam, but they are working on these things, is the DPI standard testing. Curriculum requirements, they want to add computer science as a requirement for graduation, and they are also looking at cell phone ban in schools and cursive writing. So those are some of the things that are in progress that the Wisconsin Association for School Board is working on. I won't bore you with the rest of it, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Anybody else? Okay. And committee reports, Human Resources and Finance.
We did meet, but that is for closed session.
Okay. And Marketing and Public Relations.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. And Policy.
We did meet tonight. We went over about 12 policies which the board would like to have brought forward. And we will be meeting again on the 17th.
Not all at once, I hope.
We will be meeting again the 17th at 5:30 before our regular meeting. And the resolutions that we recommended to bring forth tonight then will be on that meeting as well for approval.
Okay, all right, and with that, I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Keller, second by Verich, to move into closed session under state statute 19.85 to approve the executive session minutes from January 20th, 19.85 sub 1, sub F, sub B, considering financial, medical, and personal history, which if discussed in public would likely have a substantial adverse effect on the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data regarding athletic code violations, and 19.85 sub 1 sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility for admin contracts, compensation of an employee, and resignation of an employee. The board will move into open session and may take action on items discussed in closed session. Roll call, please.
Kundi, aye. Stelzner.
Aye.
Verich.
Aye.
Keller.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Ackman.